Hello folks, this is Steve A.B. for you. Nothing in this episode is a promotion, nor is it a recommendation, but it is a warning. So this is /.org, News for Nerds. Trump to end Biden-era high-speed internet program. Are you talking about the one where they paid for the Lumos people to bury all that? And like every 3 days I keep getting a card in my mail trying to get me to sign up for their fiber, which is right out there, but they're going to have to dig into. No, I don't want them. I'm sure the service is wonderful. No. CloudFlare CEO says AI is killing the business model of the web. Before the web, there was the internet. And there was something like a software, well, there was the FTP, File Transfer Program, FTP, or later you could use what was called Gopher, Gopher, and most of what was on the web was like university computers or private individuals, and they might give you access to download stuff from there's like the very beginning of what a library might be. But then it became more graphical and human readable directly. That's called the web. Thank you to somebody at the Collider in Switzerland. And then people started to say, well, if I've got all these people coming to my internet-connected computers, who's going to pay for wearing out the disk drives and stuff like that? And then people said, oh, I can think of things to put on the web. I can compete with television and newspapers and magazines. Maybe I can get people to sponsor, I have ads. Can you watch the evening news on television without ads? I don't know. I don't own a television. I think the only way you can actually avoid the ads is you walk out of the room while they're on. Would that be correct? I don't know. I haven't had a television set in probably 20 years. 15. So what is the CloudFlare CEO saying? Google's value exchange with content creators has collapsed, Prince said 10 years ago. For every 2 pages of a website that Google scraped. See, Google goes out and downloads web pages. Some that it knows change frequently, it probably goes every hour. Others that they think are statistically have shown to be unchangeable, they might only go there once a week to recheck. Scraping is they follow all the links. They really go in and out of the entire website, making sure they've got everything there, and then they index it. So when you put in a search engine, they try to match up what you're asking for with some matrix of what they've scraped. Do I have anything I think he's looking for? It used to be that it then would give you a link to it, and you go there. Almost 100%. But ten years ago, for every 2 pages of a website that Google scraped, they would send you one visitor, and that visitor would, before the age of ad blockers, would get to also see the ads. And if the ad was seen by a new arrival session, they might get paid 2 pennies. Who knows? And that's how they support the site. It adds up. That was the trade. Now it takes 6 pages scraped to get one visitor. What does that mean? That drop reflects the rise in zero-click searches, which happens when searchers get answers directly on Google's search page. 75% of the queries get answered without you leaving Google. What is the most popular game online? These results are for what is the most popular game online. They corrected my spelling. Search. What's this? It's AI overview. Now, remember what I just read from the CEO of CloudFlare. The most popular online game is Counter-Strike 2, specifically the PC version of the game. Da 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 da. Show more. Here's some more stuff. If I was looking, show all. That didn't work out very well, did it? Top games by current player stream charts. I could go to New Zoo, most popular games by monthly active. All right, now watch. See, it's kind of broken up. I didn't do it. I might be satisfied with this, and I'll decide which one I want to buy. I don't, but this is all AI overview. I don't have to go anywhere. Google just told me everything I need to know. That's what the CloudFlare CEO is talking about. Who gets the advertising money? Google. What does Google base its answer on? Scraping websites that are desperate to have visitors so they can show them an ad and get paid for the ad. Did you get that? Or I could go to one of their sources, but you see how far down it was? What he's saying is most of what you query to Google these days, AI overview can give you the final answer as far as you actually need, and you never get exposed to somebody making some money by showing you an ad. So here's something called newzoo.com, most popular games by monthly active users, 37 markets. Learn more. I don't know what, join our newsletter. They give you things to click on, more rankings. I'm not sure where the ad is, but at least I visited them. Unlock market size data for 100 plus. Oh, that's where they're selling. There it is, they're selling. That they're self-advertising. They have important data for sale. That's the same as having ads on the side, if you think about it. Revenue. We have a website to make revenue by selling something of value, or in other cases, more traditionally, someone else thinks there'll be enough of the right kind of people coming to your website that I'd like to have an ad right there while they're reading. But then there's the next paragraph. AI makes the problem worse. Large language models are accelerating the crisis, Prince says. AI companies, now listen to this. Google is using AI, but listen to this. AI companies, which is not the same as Google. Microsoft invested in an AI company. AI companies scrape far more content per user interaction than Google ever has. So they have web crawlers too, but not for the same purpose, for building their database. Remember the big controversy's been, why are you scraping all those newspaper articles? People wrote those. You need to pay for them. So they're just scraping the whole web. See if you can catch up to me with your lawsuits. AI companies, according to this guy, scrape far more content per user interaction than Google ever has, with even less return to creators. What do you think it is for OpenAI? I mentioned Microsoft investing in, OpenAI. The ratio there is 250 to 1. Now that's how, he doesn't say right here how he came up with that number. But it's not 4 to 1 and 6 to 1. It's 2 orders of magnitude larger. An order of magnitude is times 10. What do you think it is for Anthropic? That's a different AI competitor. 6,000 to 1. More and more the answers won't lead you to the original source. So if you subscribe to OpenAI or Anthropic and you interact with them to get answers that normally would have been through even the Google search engine or DuckDuckGo or Bing at Microsoft, they just give you the full answer, quote, the full answer, and you don't even go there. They're the people who, but they get it from the originals. Can you stop who's looking at your web page? Can you stop who's looking at your web page? Keep that in mind. More and more, the answers won't lead you to the original source. It will be some derivative of that source. The situation threatens the sustainability of the web as we know it. If content creators can't derive value, meaning get paid somehow, then they're not going to create original content. The modern web is breaking, and the AI companies are aware of it, and the business model of the web can't survive unless there's some change. This is early warning to all of you who are watching my videos. Now, this was suggested by a certain person that can get his articles up there without them being voted on. And he's pretty good at it. This was in a recent interview with the Council on Foreign Relations. But the article actually comes from this link. Now I want to see if it'll do what it was doing before. And we could wonder if what he's been talking about, can you control who watches your page? Well, that came up, right? So let me reload the page. I just reloaded the page. I just reloaded the page. Let me do it again. I can see the X. Did you see it? Did you see it? I'm doing it again. I'm wondering if this is going through the CloudFlare interface. It hasn't come back yet. It's still waiting to update the page. It's called Search Engine Land. Did you see what? All right, it just got a response. Now, how could it render the page the first time, but then if I ask it to re-render it, it either doesn't re-render it or it re-renders it and then it doesn't. It kills it in my browser. And I can look at the page source. This is the HTML file that was actually downloaded. And it's typical. And down here, right in this section, is the actual article text. If I needed to, I could read it there. But it looks so much better if I could. So what I'll do is I'll take this URL and I'll try a different browser. Now this one, the first tab is there, but I'll just do this and it didn't render. And now it did. CloudFlare CEO, AI's killing the business model of the web. This is what they drew all the quotes for in that, okay? And they got it from the interview with the Council on Foreign Relations. And this place is called Search Engine Land. So they're really interested in this kind of stuff when they see it. But what's going on with what's happening with this particular web page? Now, look at all the stuff that's over here on the right side. You see all the ads? Check my site's SEO. Never mind that. Now, I'm just curious. Let's try Edge. Okay, there's the Edge browser. That's Microsoft. Now we'll reload it. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. It's stable. Let's try Brave browser. So there it is, but let's reload it. You see I'll reload it again. What's going on? I have no idea. I have no idea. So while I'm interested in an article about something, how the AI stuff is going, and even the AI overview of Google is actually going to kill a lot of websites out there because they aren't going to be able to make enough money with ads on their sites because nobody's going to actually come to their websites. And you know what happens when nobody comes to your websites anymore? You go find something else to do in life. Remember what I've told you before. I've been with the web since the beginning. And there are things, years ago I made videos about showing you, like, I'll give an example. About the Jew who bought his way out of the Netherlands after the Nazis took over Holland. He owned metalworking factories to make barrels. He paid the SS everything he owns and turned the factories over to them. And he was allowed to leave with his family and his show horses. And while he was in the United States during the war, he made a living with circuses with his show horses. After the Germans were defeated, he went back to the Netherlands and reclaimed his factories. In Israel, I worked in a kibbutz factory called Pachmas, and the machinery there for making steel barrels were on direct license from that Jew in Belgium. And he didn't license it to anybody else. And at the beginning of the web, and even 10 years ago, I could still find websites that you could find that story in detail, but not anymore. It doesn't exist on the web anymore. Why? nobody comes to those pages, it's boring, we're going to update what we're doing, and they dump it. And the only place it might be is on the archive of the web. Maybe. So the web itself has had one fault that I've mentioned to you before, repeatedly. Short-term memory. If it isn't on some machine somewhere, it's like it never existed, so far as the web search finding it. Got that? Of course, that would be true. How would we know the names of all the popes? Because somebody wrote it down in books and kept it in some kind of library somewhere. But once all those libraries die out, the books rot, fires take them all, then you couldn't remember that, but there were enough copies in enough church libraries that it didn't disappear completely. You just might have to search harder to find it, like go directly to the Vatican instead of being able to find it at a Catholic church, diocese, library. Excuse my long thing. I'm trying to give you contrasting examples. Now the AI just goes out and scrapes the web and has it in that, and the way they index it is completely different than the way Google does it with their very light level AI. And the more people use those AI models instead of even Google search, the quicker all those websites are going to die for lack of visitors to pay for their existence. They'll go into doing something like selling used cars instead. I'm not saying that to be funny. Steve A. before you, I just thought I'd bring it to your attention. Crisis at the very edge. Keep your eyes open. Watch it happen. Saying see you in 73.